get pain that is on the side of your chest wall, inside your arm, or it can even travel down the side of your arm into your pinky finger? If so, this may be coming from the serratus anterior muscle. Hi, I'm Dr. Price, and I'm going to share with you trigger point release of the serratus anterior muscle. I'm going to go over origin, insertion, and ways that this muscle can be problematic. So if you do a lot of prolonged running or fast running, chin-ups, overhead lifting, or anything that's going to activate that serratus anterior muscle, you can develop trigger points, and that can be painful. And the pain pattern is going to develop with pain on the side of the chest wall. You can even get it inside the shoulder blade, on the lower part of the shoulder blade. It can be inside the arm and travel even to that pinky side. So I want to show you how you can release this muscle and stretch this muscle. It is supplied by the long thoracic nerve. So if you have a long thoracic nerve injury, that muscle will become weak. And to know that that muscle is weak, you'll get winging and tipping of the shoulder blade. Winging and tipping is when your shoulder blade comes off of the rib cage. So that muscle is going to help stabilize the shoulder blade against the rib cage. And when that muscle is weakened or affected, it can allow the shoulder blade to wing or tip if it is weak. If it is overcontracted, then it can keep the shoulder blade glued to the back of the rib cage, so to speak. So to release that muscle, we're going to work on the projections that attached to the ribs. It attaches from the inside of that shoulder blade. So if you go on the inside of your shoulder blade, and especially on the lower inferior angle, so that bottom pointy part of the shoulder blade is where the serratus anterior is going to attach. That's going to originate there. And then it's got finger-like projections that are going to go into ribs number 1 through 8. And most of the trigger points are going to be in the area of rib 5 and 6. So to get the landmarks, the rib number 4 is going to be around your nipple region. So it's just below there. And if you go to the bottom of your rib cage, so the bottom of the ribs where you're not getting floating ribs, so you've got 2 floating ribs down low, but the very bottom, that's your 10th rib. The attachment of the serratus anterior can even go to the outside portion of the 9th rib, but ribs 1 through 8, you can find this muscle attached to those ribs. And if you work your way up and just below that nipple region going into your 5th and 6th ribs, that is where you're usually going to find trigger points. I'm going to release this using a foam roller. So you want to take a foam roller, and I'm going to angle forward onto that roller. So the side of your shoulder blade, so if I go underneath that shoulder blade, that muscle is going to come around and attach into those ribs here. So I will take my foam roller. I'm going to rest my ribs right onto the roller, and I'm just going to slowly investigate if there's any tension in that area. And I'm going to not be sideways, so I'll roll into different muscles depending on the angle I am. I'm going to turn my body forward, and I'm going to go down the rib cage, staying on the rib cage. Remember, this muscle is going to attach to the 1st through the 8th ribs, with most of the trigger points being in rib number, or on the outside of rib number 5 and 6. So that's going to be just below the nipple region. And so you just want to investigate, find any tenderness or tension, and then hold on that tender area for about 20 to 30 seconds. And I'll spend about 2 minutes working on different areas to help release the fascia as well. Once that trigger point has been released, then you can stretch the muscle. So the best way that I like to stretch the muscle is going to be between a doorway. And what you want to do is you want to take your elbows and keep them about shoulder height or lower. And you're just going to lean in the doorway until you feel a stretch. Now this is also going to stretch the chest muscles, but you're going to work then into the serratus anterior. So arms are going to be shoulder height, leaning into through the doorway, or either bringing them a little lower and leaning into the doorway. Also, what you can do is you can sit in a chair and you can stabilize the shoulder blade behind you, so you're with your arm, and then you're going to rotate your torso in the opposite direction, and that will also stretch the serratus anterior muscle. So once you release it and then you stretch it, you can help restore that muscle-tendon relationship, and if that eases up the pain that's in that side of your chest wall and even into the arm, then that most likely is the culprit to the pain that you're experiencing. So I hope this is of help, and have a blessed day. Thank you.